Howdy, all you delicious people. I'm here today to play more 7 Days to Die. Reasonably, I have just continued to make progress on this game. So much so that you know what? I'm very happy with what I've kind of accomplished. I have adjusted some settings in much more newer episodes, which you probably won't see till a while from now, because I've kind of really started to really stockpile the series and just kind of played numerous episodes that eventually you guys are gonna see, and you guys are eventually gonna know and go through and just like, wow, what a drastic change per episode to episode. Ultimately, sometimes within a series, especially where this series is going to go via taped later episodes, people are going to see a pattern emerge where ultimately you're going to see me kind of resort to going back to one of my environments that I previously played on, um, one of the previous episodes of 7 Days to Die on a previous series. But there's a big but there. I am going at this same housing environment with a different approach. And ultimately with the settings of which uh I have placed on now, it's does feel very much like a whole different ball game. Ultimately, it seems like there is a real justification for being in the environment that I'm in and staying there and try to fortify where I otherwise am living. Uh, and this place that I found um, definitely feels very much like almost in the middle of the map, so I dare in fact think that it's a good place to be. Anyways, let's go on with the video. Pre-recorded off of my PS4, so you guys are gonna see like pre-tape stuff, and I'm gonna be talking over it. Uh, of course, as usual, I'm gonna mention this video was heavily edited because ultimately you kind of have to, because it's a much better experience if it's a heavily edited video. Because if you really wanted to watch a video where it's just me just going clunk, 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 clunk for like 20 minutes, clunk, 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 hey! Now I have a safe to get into, clunk, 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 clunk. Oh, now I gotta get through 3 doors, clunk, 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 clunk. A 3 hour streaming extravaganza where I'm just clunking away on doors and all of this stuff, and it's gonna be very very boring if I did that. So definitely realize that I'm putting a lot of work into these episodes that you are honestly never going to actually see. Like hours and hours of work that ultimately get kind of fused into like a 20 to 30-minute video. Like ultimately, I had about, God, what was it? Like 3 to 4 hours of footage that I ended up, when condensing it all down, it ended up being 4 hours of footage that I think for the most point was either cut in half or even lesser than that. So there might be some stuff that I ultimately kind of am concerned of whether it is really viable for people to see, but I don't know. Because again, like you kind of get concerned of how much you should have on this, and then you ultimately get concerned of how much you should showcase because you might feel that it's a waste of time or whatever along those lines. But definitely within this series, we're eventually going to showcase environments that I've seen in past or that I can kind of add to now that I'm much more knowledgeable about things or this and that. There's ultimately some places I do, like once I finally do see them on a map or I do get into them, I'm like, oh my god, yes, I love this place because I ultimately know what resources I can get from said place. But yeah, definitely you guys are going to see, as you can see, we're currently on day 4. I think I'm at a point now, I think my last recorded video kind of goes all the way up to the morning of day 8. So eventually you guys are going to see what the 7th day actually provides. Because the 7th day is normally like a very crazy night. And that is going to really be showcased on here. That, yeah, kind of crazy. Because ultimately, yeah, I've already pre-recorded that, so you're definitely gonna see all of that stuff that happens. I don't want to mention it now because it's kind of spoiler territory, but I'll just kind of like, I'll say that eventually stuff goes down. But luckily enough, I think it actually was a smart idea to adjust the settings of the game. To be brutally honest, to just have a lower spawn rate per one person, because I honestly do not think I honestly could have handled much more than what had been brought in to. So I think I was kind of lucky in that way of just going, okay, like maybe I should adjust the settings just a smidgen, because like not just saying make everything easy so I can blow through the game. No, because I think with just a small adjustment, um, I think really is the real difference between kind of just playing in the game and you're just kind of like, yeah, this game kind of feels pointless because I can't do anything, and actually being able to make real legitimate progress. Yeah, that's a crossbow schematic, which is great. I think I've already gotten one of those, but or I might get one of those. Or no, wait, yeah, I got one of those already. Um, yeah, all the videos are starting to eventually all bleed into one, because eventually it's just kind of like, do I have that? Will I have that? Have I had said that with which I will have? um, but yeah, um, so I just really just wanted to just like continue to play it no matter what. So everything that you're going to see is just kind of me reflecting over most of the time a lot of past stuff that I've already kind of went through. Um, Let me pause this for a second. Okay, good. I thought I was. It's like, does this video look grainy or something? I don't know. So I had to kind of go through and adjust settings, which really didn't have to adjust anything, but I must have just saw something that wasn't there. But yeah, anyways, so I don't know. I'm just kind of yeah. I realized that that door was unlocked. Yeah, there's so much. You just kind of just continue to just get so much effing crap in this game. Man, I just really wish that there was just a way, especially if you're one player, one person, whatever, that you can eventually just get a substantial kind of way of being able to play. Because I think, as I broke my leg, I definitely think that I think one person players should honestly get like some kind of benefit, because ultimately I think for the more you play with like a group of people, there isn't much a huge like significant benefit to play by yourself. But with a group, man, you can just get a lot of stuff done. With like one singular person, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, so evidently the airdrop dropped the drop off of a cliff. So yeah, when I went, just go, oh yeah, I'm gonna go and get this airdrop. For the life of me, I could not figure a way down. So I kind of rendered that airdrop was pointless. I'm sure I actually can get down there, but because I ultimately looked at videos of people going all the way down into this Grand Canyon like situation, or whatever. But yeah, for the life of me, I couldn't figure it out. So I just kind of gave up. I'm like, well, F it. Like, this will be the one airdrop that I did not go for. Which is like, F it. Oh well. Anyways, again, as per usual, we're kind of gonna go as far as clip wise. A lot of stuff is just gonna be like the best of kind of stuff. Like if I found something that kind of benefited me, like that's ultimately what you're gonna see through my travels. Even if it's something that might, at the end of the day, might not seem significant, which a lot of this stuff tends to just kind of just be like, oh yeah, you found bullets, exciting. Ultimately, yeah, it's just it is what it is. But yeah, evidently this is still a portion of time which I was just using water. I have kind of adjusted to using mostly like yucca juice, which is you take a yucca fruit and you combine that with an empty jar. So yeah, that's a great benefit. But yeah, I hope that I'm gonna make some real, true, legitimate progress in this game and make everybody proud of me, because that's like for this game, like you can never really win this game. You can never really like you can never. It kind of gets to the point where you can just play this game really well, and that's about it. It just kind of like play it until you get bored. Not play. There is no like you win kind of like thing that just gets plastered on the screen of you beat the game. No, you just continue to play the game until like the later you play the game, it gets harder and harder and harder until you absurdly maybe adjust the settings to make it even harder, and you adjust when you die you only want this amount of stuff present or whatever. I think for me, even though I kind of dipped down the settings, and I'm gonna get some meat from this chicken because it tastes like chicken, which is gonna be great because getting mercifully killing animals eventually gives you meat, which can up your health. Which I don't realistically do until I think really the very last kind of episode I shot. I kind of got to a much more better standing of health. But yeah, but I found this like hotel station and I was just like, man, this looks like a cool place to just kind of farm, or not farm, but kind of just sprout around. But you're gonna see in the future episodes some interesting and cool locations, because ultimately I finally figured out how to find new locations. Whether the episodes will be exciting, don't really know, but need a little help there, buddy? Little help? He got stuck. Getting a lot of these like kind of leather schematics and iron schematics and stuff like that. It's really great, but ultimately, like when you wear them, you get overheated. especially in this environment. It doesn't really feel it doesn't really feel that you should really go and put on any kind of real legitimate armor or any kind of real clothing until you either get into the green environment, which I'm not talking about the radioactive biome or section of map, because ultimately you could die, especially if you don't have a full-on hazmat suit. I'm much more talking about realistically uh, green grass environments, which ultimately you'll see in the future episodes, because yeah, I will have found said things. Good thing I found a splint in here, because ultimately, yeah, I broke my leg. Hence the bone symbol that you saw on the very bottom down here meant that I broke my effing leg. With that drop of getting that that drop of that base thing there, the airdrop, which I didn't even get to get. But I'm always gonna try to get those airdrops because they tend to bring down some significant amount of stuff. A lot of it's just kind of books, or a lot of it's just kind of med kits or whatever. But in future episodes, you're gonna really see some really good drops that I get from airdrops, and uh, but yeah, off camera, I had I'm gonna get to a new home, and off camera, I've adjusted that home, which you're probably gonna see in the much later episodes, especially during that 7 to 8 day. Um, I'm really gonna really customize it, and it's something that you're going to just kind of come into on one episode and just be like, whoa, like he's really made a lot of adjustments. Cause yeah, I was like thinking and thinking and thinking how I can easily do like a night with a lot of like zombies coming around. I had started to like think tank and process like, is there some kind of way that I can make some kind of um like night adjustment within my home to um see how I can completely defend it without actually needing to legitimately go and actually shoot every single zombie, or uh like have to like by my own hands kill every single one of them. And you're gonna see eventually that kind of adjustment being made. um but ultimately it all comes down to resources. I'm definitely going to have to really stock up a lot on wood. I need seemingly endless resources of wood. I need wood, and I need a lot of wood, because, yeah, I definitely need it. So eventually I'm going to have to go on a wood spree, because I need, just endless amount of that thing. And then I need to kind of get a lot of iron as well, because that also helps with making items, meaning like if you drop down a wood frame, which you maybe have seen me do from time to time, iron eventually kind of adds on to that already strong uh, piece of wood frame. Ultimately, I should also look into making much more iron, because eventually I have a forge. I have a forge. I can make forged iron, and ultimately that really does go well for being able to make even much more significant wood frame. Because after wood is being placed, then you have to place iron, or then you have to place metal, and then after metal, it's forged iron. So yeah, And a lot of this will probably not make sense at all to anybody because like, what are you even talking about? It's like once you kind of get into the game, you'll really figure it out. Um, you really probably go, oh yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about. Otherwise, a lot of times, this really, honestly, everything that I'm telling you right now sounds like gibberish because it's just like, what is he even talking about? All these resources, yeah. That's the intelligent thinking that you have to approach this game with. You can't just play this game and just be like, oh yeah, great. This is actually a trader place that I found, which I didn't buy or sell anything. I just saw it and I was like, okay, great. That's like my first actual like trading place. Because ultimately you don't get this trader place in a lot of these extra environments unless you have like internet connected to this game. Otherwise, you would just kind of go with kind of the bare bones. That's why if you kind of see a lot of stuff that I bring to the table through these episodes, if you play this game and you play it and it seems like where are all these locations that he's finding? Like I don't have a trader in my game. I don't have a this in my game. I don't have a that. Where is he getting all this stuff? Yeah, I play 7 Days to Die with an internet connection, so that's kind of like this game feels very almost like Wi-Fi dependent for you to get the goods, the good stuff. Otherwise, you kind of get like bare bones basic things. But yeah, like I said, eventually I'm going to. Um, I think I really want to much more do episodes where I loot a lot more things, but things are just going so slow. I don't even know why I am going all the way to showcase this piece of footage. Maybe there is something important here that, or maybe I just quickly ransacked through this. I don't know. There must have been something there to showcase. I don't know. But if there isn't, I really do apologize. There we go. I'm like, why am I showing all of this footage? As you can see here, the house is fairly adjusted. This place is fairly adjusted. To where I'm at right in the game right now, this place is no longer my home, which is sad. But ultimately, it is kind of justifiable because a lot of times people would easily break into this place because I just would not. I would never go out of my way to really actually like defend it. Like I would never put defenses in ways. I honestly would just kind of just be like, well, like if somebody comes in, they come in. Which ultimately, when I get my other home, I'm gonna try to strengthen the home more and try to get resources together to be able to um, find and get things together. One thing that I eventually need to do is be able to make a concrete mixer because man is that going to be good to get. I need to eventually get all of the resources to get that, which ultimately means I gotta break into a lot more cars, get that thing going, breaking into cars, which ultimately I could have probably done here, which I think that'll be a thing that I eventually do. I might come back here, just kind of break through a lot of cars. Because if you see the wrench there, the little wrenches, or the things that might look like wrenches, like the thing I just kind of adjusted onto here. I don't know why I'm showcasing all of this. Man, it must have been a very tiring day. I probably could have easily just kind of. I think this was a small amount of stuff to just kind of like place in here. That's probably why I showed all of it. Or I probably was just really tired that day, so I just kind of didn't edit very much. But now you guys are gonna see me cook some of this meat. I honestly don't know why, but I think I ended up making instead of the actual meat that could actually give me wellness. I think I actually went with boiled meat, which honestly did nothing. So I'm always gonna go with I think it's either charred meat. Yeah, I think it's charred meat. Never again am I gonna go and do boiled meat. It just feels like a waste. Because it really did nothing. It really did nothing at all. Whenever I've done charred meat, gives me health, and yeah. But ultimately, a lot of times, never really want to have meat on you. That's why I'm kind of like I'm trying to get much more animals to get meat from the animals, but ultimately it's kind of dangerous to have on you consistently. There's been a lot of times where I've had meat on me and I've had to kind of adjust somehow to get like I gotta get rid of this meat. Like I gotta get rid of. So I'd ultimately try to like put it in some kind of resource somewhere, to where it's not on me, so like it won't have the thirst of the zombies going. He has some meat. It's tasting even more. It smells even more like meat than usual. Hence why you have that like very no symbol. If you look at the blue stamina line there with the person running, right next to that there's a no symbol. That's what that means. Is that when you have meat, zombies can sense you fairly easier. But yeah, the fire symbol there, of course, is pretty easily known that if you are near a place that is going to consistently keep you warm, you will probably get dehydrated. Like right now, I am at the degrees of 121. Once we kind of get into the 120s, yeah, you don't move very fast. But ultimately, yeah, overheating is a huge struggle. Um, so yeah, I end up having to take off all of my clothes, to, try to adjust, to get my temperature down. But man, is that just the arduous process. Eventually, I think now that I'm kind of in a much more cooler environment, I tend to get a lot more cold than actually hot. So, hence why being in a desert area sucks. Being in this desert-like environment sucks. You get hot all the goddamn time. It's unavoidable. You just can't stop getting hot. And then, of course, once you go from desert-like environments, then you also have these ashy lands, these like charcoalish ashy lands that are also so hot that if you continuously walk through them for very long amounts of time, you will burst into flame. You will literally burst into flame, and it is just hilarious. But then again, it's not really hilarious because at the end of the day, that equals to lesser health. But yeah, um, yeah. So I stood a little bit too close to the fire. If you basically stand on top of your fire, not even thinking about it, you can burst into flame. There's going to be a lot of things coming up in the future that are going to be fairly funny because at the end of the day, there's some times where I just make silly and or stupid decisions, and I pay for it. But that's what happens when you don't realize things and then you just start to run, or you just start to just kind of just do things and adjust things, and then you're just like, oh crap, I'm going to die. or I have this going on now because I didn't know any better. Or oh my god, I've completely run out of resources, to be able to do this and this and that because you weren't thinking, because you have 18 different things going on simultaneously, all the while you're trying to forward out a zombie invasion. But yeah, so transitionally wise, here's some red tea that I just ended up buying because I couldn't find any red tea. But in later episodes, I'm going to be able to actually just make red tea because ultimately I'm going to be in an environment where um, they tend to have red tea in abundance because I can find flowers to be able to make them. Um, I just wanted to buy the red tea because I knew one that it could up my wellness, and two I like knew that it could cool me down because I'm at 109 temperature right now. Very hospitally feverish. So, but I don't have the beer virus. That was tea. It wasn't beer. And a lot of times I don't. I rarely drink beer anyways on this game because I just don't see the point in it. I don't. I never in this game. I've never drank coffee in this game, and I don't drink beer in this game because I just don't think that they're really that beneficial to do. Um, as well as in life, you probably wouldn't drink coffee and or beer unless you were really in the mood to, or you need coffee to just kind of wake up in the morning. But yeah, so yeah, probably not a whole lot of things going on in this episode. But here is the hospital. As I mentioned in the thumbnail, there is a hospital found, and this is a hospital here. I am very familiar with this environment, but the thing that I am not very familiar with is a heavily spawned amount of people that arrive here, and not people meaning people to help me. I'm meaning zombies and or other things that just spawn all up in here and just take a huge dump on my life. Recently, I had appeared here and started to grind away into this house, and then just like started to come in here and started to just kind of like appear as if like I'd never been here before, but I have. So I pretty much know all the stuff that comes with this area, so I'm just gonna get a ton of health stuff, um, which is great. But ultimately, simultaneously, you're going to see, I believe, in the next episode, I run into some issues. A giant amount of issues, and hence why I kind of adjust settings after a giant amount of issues appear out of nowhere. Um, but yeah, so this is just going to be the start of me being in this hospital, and then eventually we're going to be on our way to eventually finding a new home, staying there, and hope that we can kind of make a real, true uh, place that we can really fortify and otherwise not have to worry about these zombie like things, right? Uh, you hope. You hope. But, anyways, so, but yeah, this environment kind of like leads, and there's kind of some stuff that I am unaware of. There's new stuff that popped into this game that I'm like, okay, this is new. So I had to adjust with new things appearing out of nowhere because there's stuff that I wasn't aware of that eventually in later seasons you'll see. But then I am kind of looking at certain environments that I am very familiar with and can get a lot of good resources out of it. But it's just trying to figure out, okay, like I know this is somewhere around here in this location, but where is it now? Like I don't remember everything, or where everything is exactly placed. So, anyways, yeah. So that was kind of a very uneventful episode, to be brutally honest, because it's just kind of me, just kind of looting. But that's kind of what an episode of looting is. It's like they're like you would have to pick a really cool environment to go into loot, um, or you gotta have an environment that has a really cool amount of loot, which doesn't happen very often. Um, but yeah, so in future episodes, you're gonna see some crazy crap go down. Believe me. Believe you me, some crazy crap is gonna go on. I've shot so many episodes where I'm just like, what? Like some of the stuff that the zombies are just doing in these episodes that are coming up, I'm just like, what is going on? Like it just seems like these zombies are bizarrely, just kind of like weirdly, bizarrely glitching for some reason. I don't know what it is. It seems like there are times when I've played this game and a zombie is just running in place. Like it seems like they get stuck somewhere and they just continue to run for reasons I don't understand why. In one portion of the game, like I had like and you'll see it later. You're gonna see all these zombies and they're gonna just be weirdly placed doing weird things, and I don't know why. But I guess that's just the thing that maybe I should figure out how that glitch works, so ultimately I can take advantage of it in future episodes. Just like, oh man, hey, yeah, if you just place this what is it called? Like if you just place this thing and it just kind of hits this zombie just like right in the middle of their body, like all of a sudden they just run forever and they can't go anywhere. And so you can just take all the time in the world and just shoot them down because like I've had so many zombies just get like stuck somewhere and they're just running in place forever and they can't go anywhere. Like I've kind of just been like getting much more closer and closer and closer to them and they can't get out of this like location where they're just continually running. They're not doing any damage to the thing in front of them, but they're just continually running for some bizarre reason. I don't know why. But anyways, yeah, so that is the future bizarrish thing that you guys are going to see in the future. But again, this episode was kind of slow. There wasn't much going on. So I apologize for that. But anyways, I'm going to get out of here. Goodbye, everybody. Bye, everybody.